Okay, so hopefully guys try this and let's see how we do it here. So the question says, the order for an adult who has adrenal efficiency is dextromethanoinosodium sulfate, 15 milligrams IM. The patient weighs 110 kilograms. If the recommended daily dosage is 0.03 to 0.15 milliliters per kilogram, is the prescription dosage safe? All right, so here is our label, right, when it comes to it. Now, according to the label, the proportion is you can either use 20 milligrams per every 5, or you simplify it to 4 milligrams per milliliter, right? That's given to us in the portion, okay? So let's see. In our case, the order is 15 milligrams, right? So we want to see, so after this calculation, we want to see, is it within this range? Okay, well, let's find out. We need milliliters per kilogram, and we're given milligrams, so 15 milligrams. And according to the strength of the drug, that was 4 milligrams for every 1 milliliter. So cancel, cancel. So this gives us about 3.75 milliliters. Okay. Now, the range is it's milliliters per kilogram. Well, all we want to figure out is how many milliliters are you giving a patient per every kilogram this patient weighs. Now, they told us this patient weighs 110 kilograms. So we want milliliters per kilogram. So all we do is divide it. So that would give us 0.034 milliliters per kilogram. And this number is between these two numbers, so it is safe. And there we go. Okay, so that's how we do those type of problems when they ask you, recommend doses. And I had a couple of these questions in chapter 6 as well, but you get far more in detail in this chapter as well and going forward. Okay, so next couple of things is what you guys should actually read in class or in the book itself. So again, this page is already in your online for you guys, so you guys can read it. It's over solids and portions. So that's on you guys itself. Go ahead and read that portion when it comes to the exam in school. It's just pretty much, straightforward reading. It's just a summary, more definitions, but, something you guys can read on its own, okay? So that's the first part of that. So it should be already up on Canvas for you guys, okay? So that's the next step. So next thing we're going to talk about is something called reconstitution. So when medication is powder form, so again, key thing, only when it's powder form, the first thing we do is dilute with a liquid. So we talked about this in chapter 8, right? Diluting with liquids, the strength of the drug. So we're very similar with that. This process is called reconstitution. Sterile water and sodium chloride are the most commonly used dilutes. For example, for a 1 gram powder medication may need 2 milliliters of dilute. When this happens, the 1 gram of powder becomes 0.5 milliliters for a total of 2.5 milliliters of solution. And again, hopefully that makes sense, right? Just like we did when it came to chapter 8, right? If you have, let's say, water, if you add no liquid into it, that means the whole solution rises, right? You have more volume. So it would make sense if you add 1 gram to 2 milliliters of water, in this case, everything would rise total, right, or have more solution. Hopefully that makes sense. It's like putting ice in water, right? The water rises because of the same concept. So the strength after reconstitution is 1 gram in 2.5 milliliters. Also, the strength of the dosage, the key thing is, we'll talk about this a little bit, is, again, when it comes to strength, the stronger the dosage, the less milliliters you would administer, since the concentration will be much stronger. That is a very important topic, especially in nursing, okay? The stronger the dosage, the less milliliters you would administer, since the concentration will be much stronger. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later on as well, okay? So the first thing I want to do is, once you reconstitute, how do you make a label after you do this reconstitution stuff, right? So after you dilute the medication, how to rewrite it. And there's 5 simple steps to do that. Okay? The first thing you want to do on a new vial is write the date and time you prepared this, write the strength of preparation, so the actual strength now, the date and time preparation will expire, so when is it, end of expiring. Any storage directions you actually need, so like, put in a refrigerator or leave out, it's perfectly fine. And the last thing is your initials. Very, very important is your initials, right? So I'll give you guys a quick little example how this will actually look like. So it's been a while, but you know, when it comes to it. So it has a date, and when it comes to time, it is always going to be in military time, never in our 12-hour time, always in military time. Okay. The key thing when it comes to military time, if you're not used to it, is after 12 o'clock, just add 1 hour to that. So 1 o'clock is 1300, 2 o'clock is add 2 plus 12 is 14, so it's 1400 hours. If it's 10 o'clock at night, 10 plus 12 is 22, so it's 2200 hours. It's very easy to deal with. It just after 12 o'clock, add whatever it is to 12, and that's going to give you the military time. Okay, so a key thing, this has to be in military time. See, so that's the date, time, the strength, when it expires, date and time. So that expires 3 hours afterwards. Keep refrigerated. That's the instructions, and your initials, right? So in that case, it's fine, CJ. Okay. Right. So why don't we try one? So what I want you guys to do, we're going to skip A real quick, and I just want you guys to try B. So that way you guys try your own way of actually reconstituting. So it says, if you reconstituted at 5:0500 hours on March 5th, 2017, complete the label you must place on the vial. Okay, so using this portion, now try this out. Oh, and then it tells we need word example number 4. So let's look at that real quick. So let's actually look at this one real quick here. Okay, let's see if I can get the zoom in here. So first off, what is the strength of this drug? Everybody get it? So that's what the thing is, right? We want to constitute it. We want to find the strength of the drug. So when it comes to the strength of the drug, let's see. It's right here. 250 milligrams per milliliter. Okay, so that's our strength. So that's the strength you're going to put in there. So go ahead and quickly try that out. Go for it. Right, so hopefully you guys tried it. So first off, tells us first thing is when it starts. So 3/15, 2017, 0500 hours. Strength 250 milligrams per milliliter. Okay, so now when it expires, okay, so let's see, when does it expire? So from the example says, the page indicates that the solution must be used within 1 hour of preparation. So 1 hour, so this should be at 0600. It expires, and since it's the same day, so we put 03/15/2017. Doesn't say anything about keep refrigerated, so anything, so I'll just put keep refrigerated just for default. And then your initials, right? Your personal initials, right, when it comes to that. Okay. So hopefully it's not too bad, right? It's just 5 major things you want for you, when it comes to reconstitute a label itself. Okay. Now let's look at A. A is a very trick question. So going back, it says order 200 milligrams IM. Okay. So again, the page indicates the solution must be used within 1 hour of preparation. The question is, how much diluted must be added to the vial? Now, let's go back to our label. Now, again, key thing is we wanted 200 milligrams, right? So let's go back over here. Okay. Oh, actually, my mistake. Let's change this to 300 milligrams. There we go. So we want, sorry, real quick, 300 milligrams. Now we look at here. Now here, this is what we keep. This is what we're looking for, vial size. So this is only in grams. So if we convert this into grams, this should be, so 300 Right, 3,000 milligrams should equal to 3 grams. So that means we're looking at the green 3 gram portion, right? That is our what we want. And now we just go across. So volume to dilute. So we must add a total of 6.4 milliliters. So that is our actual answer. So how much dilute do we need to add? 6.4 milliliters, because we're talking about 3 grams total. So if I ask you, let's say part C question is, well, how much total volume will you have in your solution? Well, again, you look over here, total volume will be 8. So adding the 3 grams into 6.4 milliliters will give us a total of 8 milliliters of solution itself. Okay. So in this case, if it was, let's say, 1,500, that corresponds to 1.5 grams, and we'd be using the top ones themselves because of that portion. Okay. Okay. Oh, so I answered C. Determine how many milliliters of this ends up being graded. So that would be 8 milliliters, right? The total solution you have. Okay. All right. So when it comes to, let's go to number 6. Now the key thing we want to do is number 6. All right. So an order required 100 milligrams of a drug to be administered IM stat. Okay. The vial has the following 3 choices of strength after reconstitution.